don't have time to be looking for a groomer in a place that you don't know, a place that your dog doesn't know. So it's a good idea to know how to train your dog, but usually both ends are the first ones that we think about it. His face is scruffy, his butt is hairy. And those are basically, everything in between is glamour. But both ends usually are the first ones that we're going to think about it. And when we think about grooming. So having that knowledge gives you the chance to be ready for all that. And we teach you. And I've been focusing a lot on pet owners. I love pet owners. I work with professional groomers. I'm an international certified master groomer, but overall that I'm a dog owner and a dog lover, that I love the face of owners when I give them a tip of like, oh my God, I didn't know that you could do that, or you can do this or that, or what a great idea, and it's not that hard. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration because I'm sure for you, just to give you an example of some of the topics that I have on them. So Tito hopefully is going to cooperate.
Or you just stay here and I'll give you the number one would be.
Just take the pictures quick when he still looks happy and know how to play. We have dogs so used to wear clothes that he's not usually very comfortable.
I left about 10 minutes after you did.
Like one of the tips we all get, most of us probably who have long hair dogs have bought a clipper at some point. Now the pet industry have grown so much, specifically WAHL really is focusing on the pet owners and creating clippers like I can show you. This is one of the top of the line professional clippers for the professional market. Here we have one of the best groomers in the country that he just told me he got a bunch of clippers of this clipper. And this is probably $100 something clipper. But now they come out with the version of the pet owner, the homeowner clipper, that we don't see much of a difference. And that is great, because before the only clippers that we could get for our dogs at home were like a very big difference, very loud, and they didn't have accessories. It was all shave it all or leave it all. Now they come with, this is called an attachment comb that I talk on the book too, that I will leave you. First, I give you the safety, the mental safety on not having the blade on the dog. That sometimes is a fear thing, but that if you do it properly, it's not a problem. And this, the best, always a tip, leave it on the table, let the dog feel it, get used to it. Don't go straight into shaving it. I know, sounds kind of weird holding this like that. But it's the idea to get the dog get used to the sound. And always you stretch the skin. I see a few long hair dogs here. You always be sure that the skin is not scruffy. And you just go parallel to the skin. And you basically use the clipper as you will use a big pencil. So you could just go straight, and in the book you will have plenty of of graphics of how to follow the patterns, so it's very easy to understand. You will have the kind of attachments that you use, the lines of the direction that you should always go where the hair grows. So you have very easy, and another thing, every dog, this is like a family. Every dog that is on the book is actually one of my clients. And most of them are not even pure breed. And I don't have pure breed cats because usually the pet owner, what they want is they want the dog clip. If you want to learn how to do a continental clip on a poodle, that's why grooming schools are for. What I'm trying to teach you is just being a better pet owner through learning more and playing with your dog. Hair growth, and it's not only about just having a. And of course, I have to add some of the celebrities that I grew. That this is Ricky Lauren and her dog, that's Ralph Lauren's dog, Bikini, who she's a handful. She is as demanding as mommy and daddy, and you have to please her. There's Phoebe Cates and Joe, who probably was. I got that dog when Jonathan moved to Florida. And he say, I love that dog because it has a personality. I never knew that the personality was the dog chased me all over the house and had me help before I start grooming it. And we have different ideas of what a dog with personality is, but he definitely did that.
Do you have any tips on dogs that don't like to get groomed and bull chasing?
Well, I'm sure at some point dogs didn't like to be on the leash too. And they realize it. So I always say, train for viewing. Start for when they're young. Another good tip is before you put your leash, always use the same spot to groom your dog. Get them used to their routine. Put the leash before he goes out, you give him a brush out. So he will start as excited as he gets when it's time to go out or to go for a walk. He's going to start putting together, okay, before I go outside, I must get my hair done. So, so they will start putting it together. The best is start when they're puppies, but you can break a bad habit by making it fun. And be sure that you're using the right tools. As simple, like how to use a brush. For example, I have a chapter on how nobody teach you exactly how do you use a brush. This use improperly, will scratch the dog. I always say you handle it and you put actually the pressure, you feel it with your fingers. When I use a slicker brush that is basically at 1 feet most dogs, you just don't grab it hard because you're transmitting that hardness into the bristle. What you do is like you hold it like very light that you can actually regulate it, and this will be your finger that actually is feeling the pressure, feeling the bumps, feeling the outline of the dog. So this will give you the way that you are feeling. Tools are an extension of your hands. You should be able to feel your dog hair with your tools almost as good as you feel it with your hands. So you know how much you're pulling. You can feel with practice. You know when the dog is completely done. Another tip that I give is brushing your dog saves lives. And I say that when I work for shelters. Brushing your dog properly is the easiest way for early detection of most of the health issues. Their coat is like the window to their health. And when you brush the dog properly, you will find scratches, bumps, cuts, allergic reactions, hot spots. When you find them early, you can take care of home with Neosporin. It is a little scratch, or it will require only one visit to the vet. That it will be, $40 instead of $400. That is going to be painful on your wallet and on your dog. So, early detection, this is your best tool for early detection. Brushing properly. That's what I do. I teach at the inner city in New York to low-income families because a lot of families surrender dogs to shelters just because they cannot afford the pet care, one that they have got out of hand. So if they knew how to identify it early, you can take care at home, or it will be just one visit to the vet. This is another reason. This book is a great book for people that if you don't have a dog, you can give it to a friend who has a dog, or if you volunteer at shelters, it's a great tool to learn a little bit of how to handle dogs properly and how to be a little more educated. And it's nothing more satisfying than going to a shelter and help a dog to get the forever home by just giving them a clean start. So you can educate yourself a little bit, and all your voluntary work, it will actually be expanded the way that you can help other dogs. So, there are like multiple reasons other than selling it that is available on Amazon.com. And there are tons of other reasons why I'm so passionate, about the dog.